And you are watching The Power of J-Skull!
G'day, guys. How are you? That was Jason Roy Gaston, and I am VHS Jason. Welcome back to The Power of J-Skull. And we are continuing our long journey through, actually, it's not that long because it's only 3 seasons, but...
Yeah, we are 2/3 of the way through after this program, so yes.
Exactly. We're going to be
What are we
going
to do with ourselves after this?
I don't
Probably
know.
go back to the Filmation, or we could check out the New Adventures of He-Man.
You really want to punish me that badly?
You know, one of these days we're going to have to.
We're going to have to. We're going to have to break it down piece by piece. But before we get to those sad, depressing days, we are talking about the last 2 episodes, season 2, episodes 7 and 8. So
yes, the home stretch.
The home stretch. And the first episode we're talking about is the Battle of Avion. Avion?
Avion.
Tomato. Avion.
Avion.
Isn't it really
Avion?
Avion. Maybe we can go sell it door to door, Avion.
Or as whenever I think about King Stratos, I just think Avion.
Well, yeah. Well, I will say this episode particularly basically kicks off with a bang, Jace. We are right in the middle of an action scene. It is all happening straight there, and we get mate. I can't help myself. That is such a great vehicle.
It is, and it's gone after this episode. We never see it again.
I know.
It's sitting in it's in a crater in a bunch of pieces somewhere on Eternos. I don't know where.
Oh, that's sad to hear. But we've got battles going on, fights going on everywhere.
It is kind of fortunate that Panther was not an actual cat, though.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been just a horrible, horrible ending.
A lot of poor kids would be in therapy after that, I would suggest. However, we got fights going on everywhere. As you could see for that image, that was He-Man and Skeletor facing off. We've got Trapjaw and Man-at-Arms facing off. There's just things happening everywhere in this episode in the beginning, and it's certainly is the battle for Avion. However, the main guy doesn't seem to be there, the king, does he?
No, he's off doing other things, you know.
Yeah. But I did love this.
It was fun. It was a fun battle sequence. I thought a lot of the power combos were very creative. I enjoyed watching Cringer run on the force fields that were being summoned by the sorceress, and Skeletor being very smart and realizing what was going on. And instead of fighting Cringer, he goes after the sorceress, which I was like, yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Smart Skeletor.
Skeletor remains to be MVP in this series at the moment.
Yes, indeed.
It really does. But it really is a cracker. And here's what I loved about this was He-Man grabbing the 2 sigils and using it as a weapon against Skeletor.
Like clackers.
Like clackers. Very cool. Oh, here's our own battle cat here today.
She's not going to ruin the show. I think she's a little bit too old for that, but she wants to be a part of it.
She wants to be part of it. That's so cute.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things happening here. Even Manny Faces is getting a moment because we've got not only this is like George Lucas directed this episode because we've got 4 storylines going on at once here. We've got their fight on Naboo. We've got up in the but we've got Man-at-Arms down at the bottom. Manny Faces with Orko trying to deal with the strategy.
That's Ork-O.
Ork-O, yes.
Ork-O.
Yes, you have to be very specific with his pronunciation, I believe. But yes, however, we start to get these odd little team ups, and I laughed at this scene because let's face it,
I'd ship them. I totally would. I could see that working.
He's got a crush on her.
He's got multiple faces. She's got multiple personality disorder. Go for it.
They're a great couple.
Absolutely. A great. What do you call a couple with 6 people in it? I think we call that a phlox. That's a Star Trek reference.
Now, if you will notice in this entire images that I show on the show, there is only one image of this guy today, and it's the image of He-Man going, "Get out of this episode, get out of this series, get out of our lives."
Okay, in Stratos' defense, though,
is. No
I
offense.
did laugh at the mock opening intro where he introduces his warriors, and it's a complete parody of the opening of this show, which is wretched already. But just seeing them make fun of it, I enjoyed that. Points down, though, for having Gary in the episode and not Bobcat.
Yeah, well,
I'm very upset about that.
You've got all these lines being delivered. When Gary crushed the two, I'm thinking he's got to have a good one-liner here, but he doesn't. But
somebody hose my belly down. That would have been great. But
it's not a bad team, really.
I guess they could only afford Stephen Fry or Bobcat Goldthwait, and they went with Stephen Fry.
Perhaps, but
which, with all due respect to Bobcat,
get out of here, Stratos.
Get out of here. Get out of our show. We hate you. We just want you to die. That's all.
However, meantime, when Stratos is doing Stratos, his whole basically city is under siege. And which I love this. I loved all those ships going up against the turrets. I thought it was a cool.
It was, like you said, it's the Battle of Naboo. And it's
it really
wonderful.
is. It is. It's done really, really well. So, look, at the end of the day, right now in this moment, I'm going, wow, this is really good. I really like where they're going with this. We're going to get 2 episodes of extended battle here, which is not entirely the case, of course, because we don't kind of get that. That's another great moment there when Skeletor has control of the 2 sigils and feels like he's on top of things. Ram Man comes to the rescue in the ship.
It's a DeLorean on the casino moment, and I enjoy it. In case anybody's wondering what I'm doing, I've got a cough problem, so I'm temporarily numbing my throat. I promise I'm not doing cocaine. I'm not leaning over. I'm not doing that. I promise. Not tonight.
Liquid methamphetamines.
That's all right. Whatever gets me through this broadcast. Whatever gets me through this Stratos episode.
Exactly.
If Avion does not overthrow Stratos, and I mean, like, not a bloodless coup. I want a bloody coup. I want Stratos' head on a pike somewhere. Because he is just the worst.
I could see a Mussolini fight for him would make me happy.
I honestly don't remember if Stratos shows up in the show after this episode. He probably does, but I think this is probably my last chance to talk about the guy. They just totally blew it with this character. I can tell they wanted to do an arc where a selfish, spoiled king realizes that he has responsibilities and he has to stop being so selfish. But literally that turnaround is like that. There was no build up to it. It was just, look over there. Oh my gosh, my kingdom. I have to be mature now. Terrible character.
It still doesn't convince me that's not exclusive of his narcissism still being at play through that whole scenario.
Again,
even though he's saving the kingdom, it's really about him anyway, right? So
I want them ripping the wings off of him and just like, now try to fly. How fast are you flying now, Stratos? It looks like you're going pretty fast straight down.
It's just, the 2002 version. I like the idea of being the Scottish Highland kind of, almost like tribe or something.
It's good to see you, Tila. How about we undo that bonnet? We get to know you.
Gave him gravitas straight away. Yes. Gave the kingdom gravitas. But just a representation of Stratos alone, to me, diminishes this kingdom as a whole anyway. If he's a leader, I don't care about this place.
The king, because they're sitting there like, King Stratos, what do we do? They rely on this idiot. They can't make decisions on their own. Stratos is the absolute worst. And I say that knowing that Lookie and Madame Raz and Broom are out there. Stratos from this series is the absolute worst.
And as you can see my little representation of me, I've got me Stratos because he was my favorite figure as a kid. I loved him as a character, and then it is heartbreaking to see something that you love just be gutted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could look at it this way: that this is a terrible character, but Filmation Stratos and 2002 Stratos, still great characters. It doesn't take away from them.
And I have faith that the live action film that is being developed, that we will get a very good representation of Stratos.
Oh my gosh. We need David Tennant to play Stratos.
We need David Tennant just to play every character.
David Tennant could be Orko. Let's anything. Okay, hold on.
Orko. Wow, that's a great idea.
Matt Smith
That
needs
is-
to be Orko.
Oh yeah, he's got
I could
that
see
bit
Matt
more
Smith.
of a proper
Yeah.
English, isn't he? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now,
But
I
you know
flashed
who
this
else
up.
would be a good Orko? Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah, of
No,
course.
I'm serious. Orko comes in. It's like, Orko, are you here to entertain the court? I absolutely am. What's this? Oh, I just turned Man at Arm's face into eggs.
I
Oops.
will say, we've been giving props to the voice actor for Skeletor, but their iteration of Orko's been really good.
It has been. And
Yeah.
we actually get more next season, which I don't want to spoil, but there is a special treat waiting for us next season.
Oh, no, the voice actor is perfect. The way they're playing him, like it was the most jarring thing to see him as a robot in the beginning, but it's made perfect sense for this series for it to be this.
Which
So,
kind of, yeah, this show, even though we just spent it felt like 10 minutes trashing Stratos, all of the other reimaginings on this show are fantastic. Every single one. Web Store, for example, I love. Even though he's on screen scant few times, I love what they did with Web Store. I love what they did with just smushing the sorceress and Tila into one character. What they did with Orko, what they did with Adam and He-Man, everything's great.
Manny Faces.
Manny Faces is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's been really, really good. We do get a moment with all this battle. There is certain big things kind of happening throughout this episode, and one of them is the turn when they get Skeletor and dethrone. Well, the fight to break the staff, and that's what it's all about in the episode. If they break the staff, they break the Havoc. Essentially, is the concept, right?
Yeah, they basically destroy Skeletor's power.
We destroy Skeletor's power, which they do with what is a pretty full-on kind of reaction.
Yeah,
once they break the staff, because he gets sucked into it.
It is an intense sequence too. It is absolutely intense.
It is intense because it really builds up the emotional climax of this young lady who, excuse me, I've been critical in the previous episode saying like, what's the deal, man? I'm not liking you. Yeah, just throw that over to me. I'm not liking you as a character, Ram Mam, but here we get the first bit of, oh wow, like something is happening right now, which pays off great as we go later on. But yeah, what an intense sequence. So literally, he gets sucked into the Havoc. Is that how it works? Really?
He gets sucked off. I don't know what happens, and what I think is just like that right there, the most jarring, most holy crap moment is boom, Skeletor's skull lands on the ground, because up until this moment I was just like, oh, he's not really defeated. Oh, that's his head.
That's his head. Yeah.
He dead.
Yeah, he dead. He gone. And it's a great, like, it's pretty, like for a kid's show, it's pretty intense to have that moment. What a beautiful
really
shot, though. What a beautiful shot.
Except for you said that Stratos was only in that one picture. You lied.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I lied. I forgot he was in there. I would have photoshopped him out if I'd noticed it.
You replaced him with like 2002 Stratos. I don't even know what I'm doing in this show.
Or me.
Everyone here looks so shiny and well animated. I look like 2002 crap animation.
Web Store, you're right. Let's go back. Look, because we got a nice little shot of him there.
Yeah, he looks great.
Oh, does he not? It looks fantastic. Yeah, and it's really full on what is going on here. And it's like, well, Skeletor's defeated. It's all over, Red Rover, correct? I mean,
yeah,
it's done.
Like, wait a second. This isn't the season finale. What's going on here?
This isn't the season finale. However, we got things going on in the background.
Don't say a thing, baby.
Yes,
I've got you. Many Faces is here, honey.
But she wants to play ball. She's seeing him.
Apparently, that's what he wants too.
That's what he wants to. The Orkening.
The Orkening. I love it.
Yeah, just really great, just really wonderful. So in essence, Jason, this is an episode that you could be forgiven for mistaking the final episode, right? It's set up structurally like that. We've got our final battle. The villain has been defeated. We're starting to see what characters are doing next. But you would think that's it. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not it at all. Because they've captured, like a burnt version of this. It's a mixing of the staff and Skeletor all in one. And they've trapped it in a crystal inside Grayskull. As kind of a jail for him. Like, no offense, guys, I'd be blowing that right
I'd be dropping it into any of the lava pits on Snake Mountain.
Absolutely.
They're just going to waste. Just drop it in.
It's definitely not going in storage.
And drop in Rakas and Trapjaw and Evelyn while you're at it. You know what? Forget the heroes' morals. Just get rid of them. You know they're coming back.
Yeah. And make Stratos the death last, because we want to see him excruciate, see how everyone else is dying. Yeah. And he can go through that pain and then we'll kill him.
I'm sure Avion
clearly
will
have
right
an issue with
it's
it.
Fine.
No, great twist ending in the end of it, though, is the fact that the one character I've had an issue with now plays a very important part in the next episode, because this thing ain't over yet. We're getting the tease. This series isn't over yet. Skeletor's spirit is still active within the staff. And it's affecting straight away. We get that little cut. It's affecting Ram-Man.
You know, the funny thing is, I actually thought that this was the season cliffhanger. So I'd shut this off and didn't watch the last episode for probably about a week after I first watched it. And then I happened to go through and I was like, wait a second, that says season 2, episode 8. Watch next. Have I not watched that yet? And then there's a whole new episode.
But you wouldn't feel that, would you? Because this does, I mean, I don't know because I've not seen anything of season 3, but this does feel like it could have been episode 1 of season 3.
Could have easily been. If you had had the teaser at the end, you would have thought that this was the series finale, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But we know we move into final episode of the season, which is called The Fifth Nemesis, which by this time, if you haven't been paying attention, clearly is dealing with Ram-Man and her quest for a nemesis.
Yes.
And it's an episode of psychological warfare and being manipulated and losing trust and a breakdown of there's a lot big stake stuff happening in this episode.
So much of it feels like an epilogue. Like everything's over with. This is how we're dealing with things. And it feels like an epilogue for everybody except for Crass. Crass is the only one who's left behind as everybody's moving forward. And the sad thing is, it's all because of her. It's all because of her own issues and her own mistrust. And I'm not saying that she is unjustified for feeling this way, because everybody's emotions are valid. And, you know, I can see where she's coming from as well. But I do think, and I remember thinking this the first time I watched this movie, she's never had a nemesis in the series because her nemesis has always been herself.
Excellent point. It is very true. And that plays out so perfectly in this episode, far as I'm concerned, because of how broken and weak she is and how easy it is for Skeletor to manipulate her because, like you said, she's her own worst enemy.
Yeah. Well, he manipulates the worst parts of her personality, and that is her loneliness. She is the kind of person who would be lonely in a room full of friends. And
which she clearly hasn't gotten over the loss of her parents. This is obviously really at the core.
Yeah.
Because that's what he uses as the manipulative tactic. He pulls the whole emperor, like you can bring him back to life.
Yes. Only I can save Padme.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the maneuver here. Hey, look, let's do what we got to do, and I'll bring your parents back to life. Clearly hasn't seen Pet Sematary or anything either.
Well, sometimes dead is better, especially if it's a Stratos episode.
True. Very, very true. King Rangdor finally gets a chance to go and visit Castle Grayskull.
Yes, I really liked Randor in this episode. I liked the fact that he was more hands-on than we've seen him in a very long time, and he's a lot less of a jackass. He's just so much more fun to be around.
Yeah. You know what? In this episode, at one point, he talks about somebody asked him about his wife. Was it Orko?
It was Adam. Because he doesn't remember his mom. So
Mom's name. Yeah. Melina. And at that moment when he says Melina, I go, wow, it's the first time that I've actually felt the loss of a character in the show. Like, where is she? It did, maybe it would have been great to have had her on the series.
Well, they had
'Cause
that
I'm
one
not
episode
believing-
where her head fell down in front of the camera and went.
Yeah.
I think they took that one out of rotation.
But she always was played the good moral center in the Filmation series, and I liked her in the 2002 series. So yeah,
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
that I actually think that the series could have benefited from her inclusion, and I'm kind of thinking that if the series had continued, that maybe we would have had a hint of her return. Maybe she was lost somewhere. I don't know, but I do think it's a missed opportunity because she was a balancing force. But then again, we do see a Randor who is essentially unbalanced in this show, and it does work towards the narrative. So I guess it's kind of a give and take.
Yeah, I suppose because she just would have created a hurdle for his poor decision making on early in the series, and it needed him to be able to make those poor decisions without any distraction around him. However, another thing I was thinking about the series the other day, just a little bit off topic. I go, you know what? This is an interesting way to kind of redo the franchise, and it kind of reminded me of Legend of Zelda. It's like telling the same story but in a different way, and it's part of an anthology kind of overall thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in some way that made me, I feel good about thinking, with all these different iterations of He-Man we're getting, it's all still part of the same mosaic, and it's just like the Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker, the Legend of Zelda, Oricon. They're the same story, just told in different ways. So,
yeah, we call it the Masterverse.
The Masterverse.
There's actually a comic book series called Masters of the Multiverse, where they go through all of the different incarnations, and the He-Men have to team up, and that's where anti-eternity He-Man comes from, the problematically colored one. He's the one who wants to destroy all of humanity, so he's like evil He-Man. But yeah, you have He Skeletor, who's basically what if Keldor had become He-Man. You have Filmation He-Man. You have 2002 He-Man. You have Dolph Lundgren He-Man at one point.
Oh, that's great.
And then you have Chibi He-Man, which is hilarious because you get Chibi He-Man like fighting up against everybody else. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun series.
Now the one thing we didn't mention last episode is the henchmen the Havoc's been taken away from him now. So
yes,
they're not as horrific they once are, and right now they're currently in prison.
And I like how Rakaz is kind of cool with it.
Yeah,
like I prefer this over what Skeletor was doing to us.
Yeah,
I really like that.
And you know what? It's got a lot when they mention, it's a better fit out than what we've got back at Snake Mountain. Like their accommodation's better, basically.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot less lava.
That's true. Meanwhile, Adam is getting himself reacquainted with his followers, his kingdom, because he's prince. One day will be king.
I love that scene.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I don't know if he knows what to make of it yet. He's kind of like, kid at a candy store. He doesn't know quite how to, really conceptualize all these people cheering him. I thought it was kind of sweet. Another real great moment I love is, meanwhile that's happening, everyone else is in the throne room. Well, you've got Teela and no, not Teela. You've got Man-at-Arms, Duncan, and Cringer. And I really love this moment when they decide to take a seat on the chair.
I like
Cringer
it whenever
basically gets caught when he walks in.
I love it when Cringer kind of lowers himself to be on the kid's level. It is great.
It is great. It is brilliant. Now we get you kind of mentioned there's something happening in season 3 with Orc-O and the rest of them. And it's kind of here where we get a sense that Trollians, these versions, should be treated the same as the other Trollians from the past, and therefore be given themselves their own kingdom as such.
Yes.
Which I found was kind of very cool of the king to accept them as who they are and to give them a space to be able to go home, as he says. Again, you can be convinced this series is over. We are tying up the characters. Orc-O's got home. This is happening. That's happening. It's done, Ski. But really, the heart of this episode, it's about her, isn't it? It's about Ram
It
Man.
is,
It's
yes.
the fact that she's losing control. She's being influenced so incredibly, intensely by Skeletor, and she's weak enough to listen and can be convinced by it. Don't know if I connect more with the character because of that. Maybe slightly I'm more empathetic to her as a character. Still not winning me over, Jay. Still not winning me over.
I honestly think that narratively, it was a mistake to keep what Skeletor told her about her helmet secret until this last episode. I think that if we could have seen that eating on her and the knowledge that the havoc in her helmet could potentially bring her family back, maybe it would have won us over a little bit more. But I'm kind of right there with you. It makes me more sympathetic to her, but at the same time, it's just kind of too little too late at this point.
Yeah. And nothing in this episode, her actions coming up do nothing to bring us back to a place of, oh yeah, Ram, she rocks.
Yeah. To me, it almost seems like it's a huge overreaction to everything. And I really think that's the thing that keeps this episode from being good, is that I feel like Crass is just, it's almost like convenience. It was not built up to be an actual, real, authentic reaction. It was written into the script because narratively it was a convenience.
Could we say this episode about Crass is Crass? All right, yeah, it's all about her, isn't it? And when she gets to Havoc, she's there. This is where it kind of leads to is fairly obvious because they're kind of mentioning through the episode. Skeletor saying, it's time to bring the Snake Men back, basically. That's what's going to help bring her parents back. Well, that's his plan anyway. And it's played out in a cool little battle where she's gone full Anakin at this point. She's gone
pale and green.
Yeah, that's right. So
because evil stands for every villain is lime.
Yep. Absolutely. It's pretty great, though, when they do come back. I will say I'm not, and I never have been, Jason, a fan of the Snake Men. I really haven't. Maybe Copper Khan, didn't mind a little bit as we watched them. But essentially the idea of the Snake Men has left a bad taste in my mouth since I was a kid, and I don't think I can ever kind of get over it because I've never seen an example yet of those characters being handled well. They just come across as average villains to me. However, I did like the idea of them coming up from the ground, zombie-like. It's a nice little touch throughout the kingdom, and they starting to surround everybody. So
it is a lot of fun. Zombie Snake Men, they did it right this time.
They did it right. Well, because they're all over Eternia. So you're getting these even innocent villages, places that we'd been to before, like, the tiger community and that. They're now having to face this. All of Eternia is now having to face these havoc-infused zombie snake men.
Yeah. It just seems like this would have been the perfect time, because it shows New Tralla, the snake men are popping up out of the ground. It shows the Tiger Tribe, the snakes are popping up out of the ground. Eternos, the snakes are popping up out of the ground. It's great. It makes it feel like a worldwide threat. I wanted to see a scene on Avion where they're all just standing there. Sure,
what's going on down there?
Today. Yeah, that's what I was screaming for. Oh well, don't worry. I'm sure it's nothing.
Oh, look, Stratos is flying again. Yeah.
Oh, so Stratos screamed a lot when we tied that rock to him and pushed him off the side, didn't he? Has he hit the ground yet? I don't know.
Full transformation is now complete. Skeletor and Ram Man are kind of one, and that's the big twist, is that she turns into the villain in this.
She is now Rampage.
Is that what they call her?
They're calling her Rampage.
Is that what they call her in the next season, Rampage? Because that kind of works.
They called her that in this episode.
Did they? I didn't hear
They called her Rampage.
I'd go with that.
You are Rampage.
It's a nice little pun that works with their previous name.
It works. That works better than Ram Mam.
Yeah, true. Ram Man always feels awkward to say.
That was always kind of cringy.
So in essence, that is it. We have finished season 2.
Season 2 is done.
Literally, all hell was broken loose. However, after credits scene or end of episode scene, we get revealed of this young lady here. Yep.
It's Eldris, and she has the wishing stone from earlier this season. It's like, I made a wish. I'm going to throw this down in this frozen wasteland. I'm sure this won't cause problems later.
Okay, now we get that scene, Jace, right? And then she walks off camera, followed by these things. Now, what are these things? Her tribe, or are they trying to get her? Or I don't understand where those War of the Worlds things play into this. Whose side are they on, Jace?
You're gonna laugh, but I honestly have no idea. I don't remember what they are.
I know that specifically there.
We do get a pretty big character reveal. Well, technically 2, but we do get a big character reveal next season, which is spoiled in the title of the episodes. I think they belong to that character, but I'm not sure.
Okay. And in essence, this is where they're really hanging the series on now, aren't they? This is the point of this entire series, is really about the Snake Men. Because as you said to me, it was by design that it was only ever going to be 3 series, or was it designed to go on further?
It was supposed to go on further because the next season, the last season, actually has a really big cliffhanger, which will break your heart when you see it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this was certainly the idea of season 3 is all about the Snake Men. Yeah, I really kind of enjoyed it. It's made some mistakes now. At this point, it's 2 seasons in. I can see where the strengths are. And there's more strengths than weaknesses in the show, without question. And it certainly is. Overall, when you would compare so far, if I was to compare it to the other series, it's equally up there for being in quality. If you were to look at 2002, the Adventures of He-Man, or the Filmation one, yeah, I would say it's doing pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't say at this point it is good as She-Ra and the Princess of Power, the 2018 version, but that's a hard ask. I don't think there's much better than that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, it's a hard question to ask, Jace, because you watch so much content like I do. But do you have any memory of how you were feeling after the second season? Were you in? Were you concerned? Do you remember how it was sitting with you?
I remember thinking, "Ugh, the Snake Men." That's was where I was. Yeah, just
that's
the
Snake
same
Men.
reaction. It's not bad. Because I promise it's not bad.
It's because we have, like I said earlier, we've had decades of bad Snake Men.
Yeah,
like that's the way it's been. So
the Snake Man is like oh my gosh, I can't remember that actor. There's an actor who they call him the Kiss of Death whenever he appears on any kind of TV show. But he appeared on like Happy Days and Married with Children, and he's supposed to be, as soon as this actor shows up, he's the Kiss of Death. That's
McGinley.
McGinley, yes, that's him.
Ted McGinley.
Ted McGinley. Anytime Ted McGinley shows up on a TV show,
Ted. It's
the Kiss of Death. The TV show is going to end. That's what the Snake Men are. They're the Ted McGinley of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Anytime No, okay, prove me wrong. Cobra Khan shows up on Filmation. Boom, it's done within a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Last season of He-Man 2002. Let's bring in the Snake Man. Boom, done. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe CGI. Snake Men. One more season. You're done. Yep. Yeah. It's Ted McGinley.
There you go. Well, He-Man, one day, and I think the Kevin Smith versions for me, even though that's been very divisive, are probably close as how you're getting He-Man almost right, like 100% right in the way of television stuff. But I look forward to, because there are the ingredients here for somebody to get the series from the beginning to end absolutely right. And I think it's a testament to the franchise itself and the lore that they built that, it's a lot to deal with, and it takes a masterful hand to get it right. So if I was to grade these guys, I'd give them a B- for this series so far. Not horrible.
I would say
But
it's definitely not as good as Revolutions. It's not as good as She-Ra, but I would say it's about on par enjoyment wise with Filmation in 2002.
yeah,
So
and I think that's said with
pretty good.
respect and love, and not with like we're not trying to denigrate it. We're trying to say, hey, it's not too bad at all. So I'm looking forward for us jumping into the next season though, because you've just said it's not bad how they treat the snake men. Well, let's see. Hey,
All right,
let's find out.
I guess our next show, we will be covering episodes 1 and 2 of season 3, The Haunting of Castle Grayskull and Frozen Solid.
What could that mean? So I'll be
Grayskull's haunted and then stuff gets cold, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. Maybe both at the same time, because usually haunted places are cold.
Perhaps so.
Who knows? All right, well, that's it, guys. We've done it. We've gotten through season 2 of He-Man and the Master Universe. Fantastic show. If you like what you're seeing here, guys, don't forget to please like, subscribe, follow, comment, do all that great stuff. Really helps us out a lot. And I know if you're watching this, you're a huge He-Man fan like we are. So do the right thing, support us, and we'll support you guys by keep watching and delivering on this fantastic Master Universe content. Well, thank you, Jason, once again for being my guide through this and steering me through the universe as such, and mostly away from Avion, because I hate the guy that runs the place.
Well, I think we're pretty much done with that. He may show up as a cameo in the 3rd season, but I think we're pretty much done.
All right, Jace, we'll sign us out, mate. We're done. We'll see you next time, guys.
Have been watching The Power of J-Skull.
Nice work.
Thank you.
All right. Stratos can go eat a big bag of... Not even going to finish that sentence, but it can.
Well,
I know we've complained about it. Yeah.
Most birds, they do subsist on a diet of nuts, so it would not be apropos to say Stratos can eat a big bag of nuts.
Not only his personality is bad, but even his, like, the reveal that they're not even his wings. So you're just a dude with a suit.
How did
you're
he
just
even
a
get
dude
up there?
with a suit?
How did he even get up there? I mean, they just gave him wings like, you're the king now, or did they kidnap him and like they're going to sacrifice him later? Actually, I'm okay with that.